be different than anyone for they've been here at 10 and seated. But I'm Mary Scott, and I welcome you. Glad you came out here. I have a very fun-filled day, boom, 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 filled and ready for you guys. But before I do, I want to do a little bit of administration. Can you really hear me? Can you really hear me now? Okay. When you signed in, you got this packet, everybody? Yes? Okay. What I'd like you to do is the guest form, if you haven't already filled it out, which I know some of you did. If you haven't filled it out, and I'll have somebody go around and collect it in the basket. The next thing I wanted to tell you about is the evaluation sheet. Before you leave today, if you'd please fill that out and drop it off at my table. I appreciate it. Air traffic control here. The next sheet is, the big sheet is the agenda for today, okay? You can see how it's, every minute's pretty much taken. Because of that, there's, during presentations, like my presentation and the Dream Challenge and all the presentations, we're not gonna have time for Q&As, okay? But when we open the floor from 1:15 to 4:15 and you guys go get your free readings and stuff, you can ask the questions then to the presenters, okay? Yes, yes, okay.
Yes.
Are you all awake?
Yes.
Okay. And the guest sign-in sheet, I'm assuming you all signed in?
Yes.
Great. Let's get this stuff done. Okay. There's some more other items. The sign-up sheet at the participants' tables. They all have one. They all have a disclaimer. Hang on, which is this. It's basically, you know, your typical disclaimer. The participants of the event do not dispense medical advice, blah, 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 or treatment, physical, blah, blah, blah. Do I need to read this or just give you a minute?
No.
Okay. So, by signing up, I'll skip to the bottom. By signing up for the free service, you acknowledge that you've read and understand the disclaimer, okay? It's on the bottom of their sign-up sheets if you want to look at it better. Since I'm running a little late here, I'm going to kind of whiz through as much as possible. The next thing is the prayer of protection. I'm going to be referring to this throughout my presentation. You can download this for free off of my website at spiritdrivenevents.com. People all over the world have been downloading that, and it's become very useful. The other thing in here is my bio. You can read and read that one another time. The other thing that I'm going to be referring to throughout is the 7 chakras. Everybody know about the 7 chakras? Yes? No?
No.
Okay. Everybody has 7 chakras. Let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit so you can see better. So, is that good? Okay. Your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your sacrum, and your root. Each chakra represents different parts of your body. So if I were doing a healing on your throat chakra, for example, it will recommend. Hang on. Can't see. Your throat chakra represents your thyroid gland, your throat, your jaw areas, your lungs, your vocal cords, your digestive tract. So each chakra individually relates to different parts of your body. Okay? Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. You can read more on it up here, okay? The next thing I'm going to refer to just briefly is reflexology. Okay? Everybody know about that?
No.
No. One no kills it.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. You can kill it, you can kill it. Okay, so just like with the chakras, each part on your feet, let me zoom in just a wee bit. represents different areas of your body, okay? So for example, that big toe, your big toe, that represents your head and brain, okay? And the same is true with your hands, okay? Each part on your hands represents different parts of your body. Again, the pointer fingers on each hand is your head, face, and sinus. So if somebody who does reflexology, these guys, were to do reflexology on you and they do these parts, they're actually affecting different parts of your bodies, even though they're just doing that. Got it?
Yes.
Let's see what else we have. I think I need to get out of this. Okay, so if I were to ask you to question God spirits, how many of you would answer yes? Really? Only that many? Okay, the answer is yes. How many of you have ever had a spirit-driven event? You guys don't count. Me. Okay. How many of you know what a spirit-driven event is? Whoa. Okay. A spirit-driven event is an event that is driven by your spirit allies when they want you to do something for them or to help others. And your spirit allies is God, your angels, your spirit guides, and your spirit family and friends. That sound about right? Yeah. Okay, so my book, Spirit-Driven Events, Fascinating Enlightening True Stories, consists of 190 pages and over 50 color pages of spirits captured, including the spirit of Elvis. Over the years, I used to keep a journal, actually I still do, called Spirit-Driven Events. And the journal doesn't encompass all of my spirit-driven events, just ones that I consider to be really cool. So in this book, I decided to select 41 of the events and put them into this book. And I selected it based on what you could learn from each of those events in order to have your little aha moment, say, I've had that experience before, now I know what that is, okay? So the book is put into two sections. The first section is general spirit-driven events, and the second is spirit-driven healing events. Okay, so for the people who don't know, they're healers, and they find out that they just really truly are. Okay? So the hope was that when you read the book, you will learn from my journey and have your aha moments and now know, geez, I have that ability too, and I didn't even know it. Okay? And of course, this book was spirit-driven event in itself because God and my spirit allies wanted me to write this book for you guys to learn from my journey and wake up to your spiritual abilities. That's the whole purpose of the book. Everybody has spiritual abilities, and some spiritual abilities are clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, infused knowledge, healing, intuition, channeling, psychometry, seeing auras, telepathy, premonitions, and a zillion more, okay? Today, I want to focus on the seeing, hearing, feeling of spirits as well as healing, okay? I'm going off script, I'm just kind of playing here. How many have heard of Sylvia Brown? How many like her? How many don't like her? That only two? Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm in the gray area with Sylvia Brown. But I found over the years that if people read a couple of her first books before ever seeing her in person, they tend to like her. But if they saw her in person first before reading the book, they kind of tend to not like her and feel that she's kind of flippant. I happen to have read a few of her books first, so I liked a couple of her books. But when I did see her in person several times, I felt she was flippant. But not only that, the last time I saw her a few years ago at a conference, I saw her as, I feel she's abused her abilities, and therefore she's lost her abilities. And I also felt her as being a very unhealthy person, okay? But there's one thing that we have to be grateful to her for, and that is that she put herself out there many, many years ago, took a huge beating from skeptics, and paved the way for us. So, in that regards, I can respect what she's done for all these years. Some of my spiritual abilities, not events. I can see, hear, and feel spirits. I have intuition and premonitions. I am a healer. I get infused knowledge. I can do astral projection travel. I capture spirits and aliens on film. I can send spiritual help and protection to people. I release earthbound spirits. I cleanse buildings and people from negatives. I sense the color of people's auras. I can help murder victims. They come to me whether I want them or not. And unfortunately, my least favorite is I know when someone's about to die. Okay? So those are just some of my abilities. And those will come through in the book. Okay, so everyone has spiritual abilities, and many people wish they had certain kinds of abilities. But it's been my experience that you're given abilities based on your ability to handle that ability. God and your spirit allies determine when and if you are able to handle an ability or not. As you spiritually progress, you'll be given abilities. Okay? Does that make sense? I know I've wanted a lot of abilities and He won't give it to me. I beg. Sometimes He does. Skeptics. How many skeptics are in here today? Ooh, only 3? Okay. There will always be skeptics, and that is precisely why I dealt with that topic on the very first page and chapter 1 of my book. A friend of mine who wanted to know why me and my friend Jude can always capture so many spirits, and she couldn't. So, yeah. She told me all the variables that skeptics say about false spirit photography, in particular orbs. That's always a big one. And one night, she happened to be at my house with her grandson, and Jude was also in town. So Jude and I grabbed our cameras, and we went out and we're snapping, we're catching them in masses, okay? She's snapping and catching nothing. And she's getting really frustrated. So what I did, I said, okay, you take your camera, not mine. You come into my backyard. I want you to stand 10, 15 feet away from me. I'm going to call my spirits to me. When I put my hands out like this, you just snap, 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 snap. As you see them come and go, just keep snapping, okay? Don't move, just do it. So she did. She was ecstatic because she got all these pictures with them all coming to me and then going, and all in a series, and that's in chapter 1 of my book also. Additionally, Jude and I decided to have some fun and try out all the variables and more that she told us the skeptics use to do false spirit photography, in particular orbs. So, well, we had fun trying probably about 30 different things. Nothing came even close to what we've captured in thousands of pictures that look anything near what we captured. We did capture a real orb now and then. We'd catch it kind of off to the side like they were watching, and they were just like watching and laughing at us doing all these silly tests. But all the test results in chapter 1. Spirits. They show themselves in several forms, and my book has an example of each and more. The most common form is orbs. And the reason is it doesn't take them as much energy to show themselves in orb form as it does in energy form or 3D. 3D meaning looking like you and I, okay? And that's why the most common is orbs. So, let's see that little girl popping up? That means it's picture time. Let me see what pictures I have for you. Okay, now here, oh.
I'll do it, I'm not having closest.
Now some of you are not going to be able to see that great because of your eyesight, because of the zoom. But this is a picture of an orb with a face in it. Now, Freddie back there, can you see it, the face?
Yeah.
You guys blurry? All right, let me see what I can do. See, for people up close, it needs to be low. But you see the form of the face inside the orb? Yeah? Yeah, okay. Let's go on to the next one. So I'm not going to show you a ton of pictures. I just kind of selected a few. This one, I happened to have caught last Saturday, during the day, at a local playhouse. I've nicknamed it the Double Header. The reason is, in this box right here, hang on. You see the face in it? Yeah?
Yeah.
That's an alien face. Okay, now when we flip that picture around, you see it? Way back there?
Yeah.
And up front, that's an alien face. Okay, so when we flip that picture around, upside down, there's a human face up in this area. You see it? That's my new double header. I'm excited about that because I no longer get excited about anything unless it's cool. So anytime I take pictures, I may take 100, 200 pictures and keep maybe a handful because they bore me now. Okay? This one, this is a good example. Yes, they're orbs. Yes, they're spirit orbs. This was not taken by me. This was taken by a search and rescue team. And actually the story's in my book. But there was a 4-year-old girl missing in the Tahoe forest with her little Chihuahua dog. And my search and rescue friend called me for help. And I said, "What are you calling me here, search and rescue?" And then it dawned on me, actually her dad in spirit slapped me upside the head and said, "Oh, gee, yeah, I can send help." And they found her. They led her out of the forest, placed her on the corner under a street light where search and rescue could find her. So yeah, you could send help. There's the help. The search and rescue guy who took that picture sent that picture to my friend and said, "I don't know what all these bubbles were, but they weren't there." And so, of course, she knew I'd just crack up on that one. But yeah, so there's a good example of sending spiritual help. This one is me calling spirits at a so-called haunted place, okay? Now, granted, there's a series, but I'm not going to show you the whole series because that was like my favorite out of the series. But there's tons of spirits that came to me. I can only do it for so long because with all the energy, it just makes me rock and gets me very, very hot. So that was the favorite one. Nice big one on my hand. Doesn't look like it does part of it to me. Does it look like one to you? Okay. This one was kind of just fun. We were driving down the road. I'm driving. Jude stuck her hand out with the camera and just took a snapshot. They're everywhere. Just remember that. They see everything and they're everywhere. So be good. Okay, here's an example of them in energy form. Now this is actually a video that we accidentally captured. So what I had to do to get the snapshot is to slow the video down and take a snapshot. So when you look from top left down, there's actually 3 entities that ran into the video to be captured. Okay? You see them? The two of the entities are very small. down here. The third entity in the purple box is my late husband box. Okay? These entities were with us when we were out trying to find the murder victim we were looking for. We were trying to find a body. The two bottom entities was the murder victim and her grandmother. They were all helping us try to find her body. Okay? So there's your example of energy form. Another example of energy form is when I'm doing a healing. At any one time, and I'm not going to go too much into that, there's at least 6 healers that work through my body. And sometimes when you capture me on film, sometimes body parts of my body disappear. Sometimes, like, she's totally disappeared. But sometimes they emanate from me. As you can see, my head up there and the spirit emanating from my head. That spirit is Harry Edwards. Okay, and I'll tell you more about Harry Edwards. So there's another energy form, okay? Here, inside the red box, is a little girl spirit. Can you see her? She's more kind of 3D, looking a little bit more like we do. But that takes them a lot of energy to show themselves like that. The next one is here in a haunted house. That's no longer haunted, by the way. And again, a 3D image showed up. Okay?
That's not a person?
No. Well, it's a spirit person. No, not a real person. Okay. Now, with everything else, you gotta remember that just like in life, there's good versus bad, there's light versus dark, positive versus negative. That's also true in the spirit world. Okay? Now, I never, ever believed in the Grim Reaper until we captured him. And this, did you see him? A little creepy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it creeped us out too. And the fact is, it was on this guy's back. And this is a local, not local here, where I used to live, TV station that just went live. That we were invited, my friend Trina here, we're invited to as a tour and to stay there during the show. Well, she happened to catch it. We looked at it and said, you know, it really does exist. I just, huh?
Did he die?
We don't know.
You mean the newscaster?
Yeah.
No, we still do
Oh,
newscasting.
Oh, thank you. Because people keep asking me that. I said, I
Yeah,
don't
he
know.
still is.
I don't know. So anyhow, that was kind of gross. Now, here's a fun thing is musicians. This is Tina Turner on stage. Look what showed up by her. Hi, okay? I've noticed with musicians, and next time you guys go to concerts and stuff, take pictures. Because they love music, they like what happens. You'll find all kinds of orbs.
No flash.
No flash. Yeah, actually, this was done with no flash. This was actually done, this is kind of comical, but I have binoculars that take videos of pictures. Okay? So there's no flash. And I was actually probably 500 feet or more away. I was just zoomed in to this concert. By the way, it's a good concert. Another musician is Elvis. And this is an interesting one. This is in the book. This first picture right here, the impersonator, the Elvis impersonator, which they're not supposed to be called anymore, they're supposed to be called tribute artists. He is actually totally shrouded in the spirit energy here. Okay? This was a cell phone, no flash. Okay? But you see all the stuff coming up this way? So when we flip the picture, now the artist's feet would be up here and his head would be here, but look who's coming out of him. You see it okay back there? And here's just a little picture you can kind of compare with real Elvis. Well, what we've been finding out is, because now we go to a lot of Elvis impersonators just to see what else is going to happen. What we found out is if the Elvis impersonator is really serious at what he does, the real Elvis will pop into him and perform. If they're not He won't have anything to do. Now, this guy, was staying at the same hotel. We just, spur of the moment, went to see a show. We're not supposed to take pictures, but you know, cell phones happen. And, we captured it. We thought, whoa, what the heck, you know? So we talked to him after the show. We said, who recently died around you because you're totally shrouded in spirits up there. And he told us, and since he had stayed in the same hotel, I sent him the picture. Well, the next day I get a call, and the guy's almost in tears. Because for some reason, his wife flipped the picture and said, my whole crew of 20 saw Elvis coming out of my body. He goes, can you come up to my hotel room? So we did, and he showed us, and then he asked me to go to that night's show and gave me carte blanche to take pictures and video. Now, I did capture a really cool video. I'm not sure I'm going to have time to share it, but the real spirit of Elvis was in him singing in the ghetto, and it was really cool. It's a really cool video. And I'm not sure if I can get through this, then I'll share it. Okay? I have to go back to presentations. You're okay. I hate looking in between, but it's the only way to show you pictures. Okay, auras and aura photos. Your aura is your life energy, also called an etheric substance. Basically, it's your God-given energy that permeates and emanates within each of us. People around you can sense and respond to your aura, and some people can even see it. Our auras are always changing based on what's currently going on in our lives. Okay? Now, the first time I ever had an aura photo done, or even heard of one, I never heard of one. I went to a psychic fair with my sister, saw that all these people around this woman do these aura photos, and what she does is she takes everybody's photo and kind of just stockpiles them, like 10 or more, and has all these people gathered around. And before she reveals the picture, she asks the audience to guess what that person's colors are. And I was getting every one of them before she revealed it, and I thought, whoa, I have no idea. It's not that I could see it, I sense the colors, not see the colors. And so we kind of, my sister and I got a little freaked out, so we went on. And then she dragged me back there, and there was a couple who did it together. And she goes, I want to see if you know what that is. And then I described it, and it was. I have no idea. Freaked me out. So, each color in your aura has a meaning. The meanings are defined in what I call the colors of life. And sometimes a spirit will show up in your aura photo when you have one done. And the first time that I saw this happen was when a friend of mine who recently lost her husband, I took her to have her aura photo done, and he showed up like he was standing behind me. But not only that, is we could feel him between us. Okay? Kind of freaked her out a little bit. But also, my husband merged into my face in the aura photo. And then I had the lady do it again, like a minute or two later, and he was gone. So, let me see, is it supposed to be a picture? And, well, the two auras were about merged into my face, became the talk of the psychic fair. And every medium there wanted to sit there and analyze the pictures, which they did. And they also made me late for my thing, for my reading that I was going to have done. So I ran over the reading, said, sorry I'm late, but everybody wants to look at these pictures. And then, of course, she wanted to look at the pictures, and she did. She wanted to buy the pictures, and I said no. And a couple months later, she actually contacted me and asked me if I would let her at least have a copy to put in the Las Vegas Paranormal Convention she was going to. So I gave her a copy. And that was about the best I would do. I'm not giving up those pictures. So let me see if I can get back to show you some of those. Okay, so here's the colors of life that violet and purple means you're intuitive, you're spiritual. White, you have angelic protection around you. So when your aura photo shows all these colors, this is basically what it means is going on in your life right now, okay? You can look at that better. I have my binder here with that up there. This is the one where Bob merged into my face.
Oh, my gosh.
Can you kind of like, this is the one that became the talk of the fair and made me late. Okay, so right here, and notice my mustache and my high forehead. Yeah, and the nose and everything. But notice also the color change within a minute or two between the two pictures. So that was interesting. I'm going to show you some regular aura photos that 5 of us recently went to, February, went to the LA Expo, where the woman I always had my aura photos done, and I've had her do my aura photos for 15 years. She happened to be at this expo finally, so we had a group of people in a van take a little girls' day out road trip, and we all had our aura photos done. So here's one of my friends. Notice the different colors. She's not a happy camper. She's in the audience. Here's another one. Look how colorful that one came out. Yep. Yeah. Well, that's an interesting one, but you know what? That's happened to me too. When you go through my book, you'll see I've had all kinds of stages of colors, and one time that has happened to me too, with the black and the red. So that's me. And this is one of my fellow authors. Okay? Let's see what I want to do. So there's just some normal, everyday kind of life aura photos, and they all mean stuff. You see, she's got a lot of purple, she's got a lot of blue. That's intuitive. That's spirituality. That's cool. So anyhow, I have a binder full of aura photos over here on my desk that you can flip through and see some. Now, like I said, over the years, I captured thousands of pictures and stuff, and because now I'm so picky, I delete at least 95% of them. But if you want to see more pictures, or photos, videos, you can go see them out on my website, spiritdrivenevents.com, and visit the photo and video gallery. Okay? Back to presentation. Am I wigging your eyes out by doing this? Okay, it's wigging my eyes out. Okay, how to do spirit photography. Be aware of your surroundings. Eliminate variables that may cause reflections or false orbs, spirit images. Stay away from mirrors, windows, lights, smoke, mist, metal. Any variable I see like that, I'll just totally disregard the picture on the left. Okay? So stay away from that. Call your spirits to you, but only call good spirits. Do not do this without your protection on, hence back to that word protection. Okay? Take a series of pictures without moving. That also eliminates the variable. If you're sitting there playing around like this, you're causing variables, okay? Realize it's entirely up to the spirits if they choose to let you capture them. Okay? Never use Ouija boards or call negative or bad spirits to you. Ouija boards are dangerous because you never know what kind of spirit's going to be your buddy to walk through that portal. And people have had a lot of really bad experiences because of it. And you have no control. So basically, stay away from them, because if a dark entity comes in, they can be very manipulative, and you're putting yourself in danger. Okay? Okay, don't have time for that demonstration either. All right, okay, moving on. Spiritual healing, second section of my book. It's a God-given gift. One that not everyone is gifted with. It's given to people with certain characteristics, okay? Now, there's many healers out there who have spent thousands of dollars on Reiki training and energy training, and therefore they usually charge to do a healing on someone, you know, which is fine. But my spiritual healing is a gift from God. My training comes from God, and the spirit healers He sends through me. They guide me to do what I need to do, and I do it. And to me, it's been really an incredible experience. The spiritual healings I perform are all about God, and they're all up to God's will. I'm merely a conduit. I'm doing contact. When I'm doing contact healings, and I'm a conduit. And when I'm doing remote healing, I'm a facilitator. Okay? I'm really cruising through this. Okay? The healings I do, they're all spirit-driven events. I do not seek out people to do a healing on them. They are either somehow brought to me by spirit, or I am spirit-driven to go to them. I never charge for healing because I consider it to be a severe abuse of godly behaviors. Healings are not always instant. The healing can continue for as long as deemed necessary by the spirit healers that were sent. Okay? They're not all instant. Sometimes the healing is going to continue for days, weeks, and months. Okay? In addition, if a person continues to do whatever caused the problem, then I'm doing patchwork, and the problem's going to come back. Okay? So, you understand that concept?
Yes.
You kick yourself in the butt and it hurts, and I fix it, and you do it again. Sorry. Okay. Remote contact transition and removal of negatives. Remote healings are just that. I ask God to send His spirit healers to wherever the person needing a healer is. To do this, I need the person's first and last name, city, and state. If they have cancer, I need to know that because there's a different whole thing I'm going to have to do. And if they're currently in hospital, then I need to know the name of the hospital, city, and state in order for me to send that help out there. I prefer to do remote healings at night when the person is asleep. There's a good reason for that. If you do it in the daytime while somebody's working or whatever, and all of a sudden they get zapped with that energy, it kind of freaks them out. Okay? Did that to a little kid, and he kind of like got freaked out. I always do those at night. Okay? Contact healings are in person, hands-on. I have many ways of doing these. I prefer to do a complete mind, body, and soul healing, which include all the chakras we talked about, as well as the hands and feet for proper energy balance and flow. Because if my healing energy is coming out of my hand and I'm touching your hand, it's going in, and it's going into several parts of your body. Okay? Same with the feet when I do that. Same with the chakras. Okay? It's not always possible, depending on where I am, that I can do a complete mind, body, and soul contact healing on a person. I suppose it's a good time to tell you what happens to me when I know I'm supposed to do a healing on somebody. Basically, I'm going to just stay there. Basically, if I were sitting next to you like you are, and I were supposed to heal her, I'd be lit up on fire. Okay? I would just totally be so darn hot, it would be unbearable, and the best way for me to get rid of it is to just simply put it into her. Okay? That's what happens. Now, that's how I'm told. That's how they tell me what I'm supposed to be. Sometimes they tell me what's wrong with the person. Sometimes they don't, but they guide me where to touch. Okay? But depending on where I am, like in some public place, I may just go up to somebody and just put my hand on their shoulder, or I may give them a neck massage, say, oh, you're feeling tense, and just give you a neck massage. Or I just may put my hand on the shoulder, or I may give them a hug, or I may place my hand where I need to do so. There are many ways to get the healing to people. A lot of sneak the healings into people, okay? And so we've become very creative on how to do stuff, like with kids. I don't know how to do that, but with the healing thing, I'll just hold up the kid up, okay? So, now people are always told that if you meet a spiritual healer, to give them a hug and take the healing energy from them. And that's true. And it's totally fine to do it too. You know, healers are fine with that. It's just one of the hardest things that I had to get used to. That, and of course, we went over. So, and yes, before anyone asks me, I have done healings on animals. So, it's not just people. Transition healings. I do this when I know a person is going to die. I want to send them help to make sure the medical staff does everything correctly, the person is pain-free and peaceful, and that they safely transition back home to God. Okay? That's basically what transition means. Removal of negatives. In addition, as the spiritual healer, for some reason, I was chosen to deal with negative and dark entities that are attached to people. I was taught by God and my spirit healers and my spirit allies how to recognize and get rid of the negative and dark entities that are attached to people. Now, this is definitely not an ability I asked for, but all healers, Reiki as well, must learn how to deal with the negative energies and entities that may be attached to people. Otherwise, they're in danger to themselves, as well as to people they're doing contact healings on, okay? Let me go back. As a side note, the same is true for people who like to go to haunted houses and paranormal outings, if you will. They need to have the proper protection on, because they're exposing themselves to the risk of a negative entity attaching to them. In addition, they should never provoke the spirits that are residing in the haunted area, but instead they should be helping them go back home to God. Okay? Now, I know it's fun to go to haunted houses, capture spirit activity, I've done it, but it can also be terribly dangerous if you don't know what you're doing and are not properly protected. And that if you don't know how to handle the negative entities that are there. Now, there's not always negative entities at haunted houses and haunted places, but you never know until you encounter them. So be prepared. And learn how to release them, to go home to God and release them after you've captured your pictures and had your fun. Okay, so chapter 13 in my book is about a haunted house I visited, took tons of pictures, then released the earthbound spirits to go home to God before I left. And yes, to this day, we're no longer there. There's only visitors that are not there. Visitor spirits. But it's bad enough I have to remove negative energies from people that are attached to people that just live in their own homes. But I'm not going to be happy if I have to remove one from someone who intentionally went to a haunted place and one or more got attached. I should tell you, I'll give you some symptoms of how you know a negative entity is attached to a person or dark entity. Some of the symptoms are the person's fatigued, depressed, maybe suicidal. Okay? I will about guarantee you they got a negative entity attached to them. And the minute you get them off, it's like a ton of weight off your shoulders. Okay? You know those symptoms? Okay. Spirit photography is an aid. When I take a picture of a person with their eyes wide open and nothing on their head, no glasses, I can see if there's negative entities attached to them or not. Okay? However, sometimes I don't even need the camera to see it, I can just see it. Spirit healers need boundaries. Since I'm human, I'm a healer, I'm human, I need to sleep. Well, the spirits do not need to sleep. So, I have been told for years before I actually took it serious, that I needed to put boundaries on my spirit healers. And I just poo-pooed and said, yeah, right, we're the And she was freaked out, and she sat me down and told me what happened. Well, apparently, at about 2 in the morning, I showed up in her bedroom to do a healing on her. Freaked her out. Well, I didn't know anything about it. Zero. Couldn't figure out how that happened. Well, I finally found out how it happened, but so she kind of freaked me out by telling me. She goes, "Oh yeah, you came in she was talking to me and everything, and she described everything I was wearing, what I was saying, what I did, everything." She goes, "I don't know how you did it, but I never felt." She goes, "But I felt so good ever since." I thought, okay, how did that happen? Which brings in Harry Edwards. Harry Edwards, he was acknowledged to have been the greatest spiritual healer since the time of Christ. And I knew from prior healing sessions, as well as other strange experiences, that he was one of my spirit healers. Harry Edwards passed away in 1976, and he's in England, by the way. There's a Harry Edwards sanctuary. As did my aunt passed away in 76 also, and she's also one of my spirit healers who works through me. I've been told that at any one time I have 6 spirit healers working through my body during a healing session. Apparently they send what's needed. Now, can you imagine how hot that gets? It gets very hot. Section 2 of my book will tell more details about the Harry Edwards story and all that stuff. But most spirit healers, they don't know who their healers are and come work through them during the healing session. But I've been fortunate because I have numerous spiritual and medium friends who can see and talk to them, and who have taken pictures or video while I was performing a healing session, and then they show them to me. So my aunt was also captured emanating from my body during the session. So it's kind of cool to know who they are, but not necessarily. Lingam rocks. I like to use lingam rocks as a tool to test a person's ability to feel energy. That I did want to do a little demonstration on, so I'm going to try and quickly do it. Anyone out there know that they can feel energy or is a healer and or? I can't see that far. Over here. Come on up. This is especially if you're a healer. And if you're a healer, boy, I would have had some more fun with you too. But I'm running out of time, so I'm going to give you one fun shot. And you guys can come later if you don't have to know. Okay. Ignore them. I want you to put one in each hand. Relax. Just relax. Relax. Let yourself feel. Whatever you feel, don't fight it. And I won't let your thoughts. You say you can feel energy now. You need things now. Okay, let me try something. There you go. Okay, I'm trying to.
You want the light off?
Relax. It's a little nerve wracking. You gotta just throw it out. Don't fight it. It's emotional. It's emotional. Don't fight it. I see you coming. Stop fighting. So that's why I'm standing fight from that.
You want the lights on for this?
I did this once to a casino, it's in a casino, and unfortunately, everything's on camera. And the dress is like this. Okay. Casino security work too. I'll fight what you feel. It's gonna rock in the direction. Okay, she's not asking me. This is what's supposed to happen. This is what's supposed to happen. That's not our fault. Okay? I'll try and do that. This rod has a backward forward motion. It also has a clockwise motion. Okay? So when I let myself feel it, it'll rock me up and forward. Sometimes if people are extremely sensitive, they'll knock them right on their butts. That's why I don't let you fall. Give it one more second. Nope. Put your feet up. Wait, let yourself feel. Really like this I'm here. There you go. So fight it. She's still fighting a little bit. When she lets herself go, get a little hot in it. You know, a fun trick with these things? Well, anyhow, I use this to test people's ability to feel. They can feel energy and take it to the next level of being able to figure out, they can feel somebody's energy from their hand. They can feel my energy, they compare it to my other hand. If one's weaker, I'll show you how to get it in balance. Okay? The same for people. Thanks for playing. Some people, like I said, are extremely, and will, it's about not going to butt. You're doing a little bit wrong. I gotta finish up soon. Okay. Lingams are only found in the Narmada River high in the mountains of Manhattan, one of the 7 sacred holy places in India. No two are alike. Okay. Even the energy flow are not necessarily alike. I have 3 different energy flows here. Protection rocks. There's a lot of protection rocks out there. The best one is bornite, which is also called peacock rock. This is very good for an everyday wear for everybody. Spirit-driven events, Jack is back, is an updated version of chapter 33 in my Spirit-driven event book. The writing of this short story is in itself yet another spirit-driven event, but with a slight fictional twist. Initially, I was supposed to write it as a screenplay for a movie. However, due to time constraints, resources, health issues, and my total disenchantment with the film industry, I shelved the Jack is Back project altogether. My disenchantment was with how long it takes to write a screenplay, the financing, resources to make the movie. And worst of all for me was how the story would be greatly changed from nonfiction to fiction so it could sell. My purpose is to keep it as much nonfiction as possible because I need to save little people's lives, okay? God and my allies were not happy with me shelving it, so they wanted me to put it at least into the book as I have it now. So I put it in the book, did it in about 4 days just to get them off my back. So section 1 is the storyline. Section 2 is the original chapter from my first book with the updates from my journal entry. Section 3 is basically pertinent and partial information on Jack the Ripper and his victims. Now it's important that the reader reads the preface and introduction first to understand how and why the book is laid out the way it is. And not all readers will, need or want to read section 3. And also due to the complexity of the book, I will not put it in ebook format, only print. And before anyone asks me again, Jeff gets back. Okay? Let's see if I'm done.